Hi, welcome back to the shop. Thanks for stopping by. This week's project, we're going to turn an ash bowl and we're going to try some ebonizing lacquer and some embellishing wax on the bottom of it. See how that turns out. Ash is a good wood to put embellishing wax on because it has a lot of pores for the wax to go in. So this is a twice turn bowl, it still has a center in it, but we're going to put this on with some hot melt glue and get it on the lathe. So I've got my center circle already found here. Put a bead on the inside of the faceplate. This is just slightly concave, so it'll hold some glue. Alright, we'll get this on the center. Push it down good. Alright, then as usual, I'm just going to put a bead right around the outside of this for a little extra hold. So this isn't the first ash bowl that I've turned on the channel, so I'm not going to go through a whole lot of explanation in the actual turning of the bowl. I'll put a link to the bowl that I turned previously on in the description, so you can go back and see that one if you want a little bit of more insight into the process of making the bowl. This one's really more about the finish on the bottom. So I've never ebonized the bowl. I've never used embellishing wax, so this is all new territory for me. So this video is really going to focus more on that. So we'll get this on once the glue cures and we'll be back to it. Alright, so I've got this sanded up now to 500 grit. I'm going to put on some Mylands sanding sealer. Everything I'm using today on this piece in terms of sanding sealer and abrasive paste and embellishing wax, you can get in Canada at Woodslee Summercraft. And I have been hunting for this Mylands for a long time because we cannot get, it's a cellulose sanding sealer, and it's almost impossible to get in Canada unless you want to pay an extremely large amount through one of the big online companies. So Rob Summerlin over at Woodslee Summercraft has it in stock, and he's a Canadian distributor for it. I'm not paid to plug him, but I know that I spent a long time looking for this stuff, and if I can help somebody else save the hunt, Rob has it, and it's priced pretty well, so you can get him. I'll leave a link to his store in the description as well. So I'm using this full strength right now, but I do think it's not bad, but it is a little thicker than I want it to be. So I'm going to cut it with some lacquer thinner. So I can add about 20% of the lacquer thinner to this, so it can be an 80-20 mix and still be good. All right, so I'm going to give this a second to dry. So the beauty of this stuff is, as you can see, I haven't skipped anything here. This stuff dries, this has been less than a minute, and it's dry now. So I'm going to knock that back with some Yorkshire Grit abrasive paste. And I have it on good authority that I can use this Yorkshire Grit underneath of the embellishing wax and underneath of the lacquer that I'm going to put on it. Because I'm going to put lacquer on this, or a black lacquer on it, I really can't see any lines in this finish at all. But when you put a color on the outside of wood, if there's any imperfections in the finish, they're really going to stand out. And so I'm going to use the microfine, Yorkshire Grit microfine, just to make sure that there are no lines standing out when I put the lacquer on. I normally wouldn't use this just on a regular wooden bowl. I have this on hand because for resin work, it's really good for taking scratches out of resin. But where this is going to be colored, I want to make sure that it's a very good finish. Okay, so the first go around with the lacquer, I forgot to turn the camera on, and I put too much on so that it actually filled the pores, and that's where I want the embellishing wax to go. So I sanded it back down. I'm hopeful that the pores are still open enough to accept wax. I know they are in some places. So I've sanded that lacquer actually right back off. And I'm gonna try it again, and I'm gonna go with a much lighter coat this time. Much better than my first attempt. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit more up around the rim here. Cool. That I can live with. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Interestingly enough, this is the first time in the 25 years that I've owned this lathe that I've ever painted anything on it. You can see the grain still in it, and that was my problem before. You can see the grain lines. I had such a thick coat on the last time that they've completely filled up, so there wasn't going to be any place for the embellishing wax to go. Really happy with the finish on it, so I'm just going to let this spin here and dry, and once it's dry I'm going to put some embellishing wax on, then we'll hollow out the center. Some of this Hampshire Sheen bronze embellishing wax. Lacquer actually dried really quickly, so this just goes on the cloth the same as any other wax apparently. I'm going to like this already, I can tell. Now this is only supposed to stay in the little open parts of the grain, so should be some black surface and all the grain lines should be filled with this. Oh, that's cool. That is really neat. Now it's just to top coat that with some Hampshire Sheen High Gloss Original, which I have, so I am going to put some of that on next. And then the outside will be done, other than the bottom. If you want to see somebody who knows what they're doing on this, go to Wayne the Woodturner. I'm going to put his link in the description. That guy does everything. Paint, waxes, everything. He knows a ton about this stuff. He's kind of the guy that I've seen do this kind of thing first. He does 3 lives a week and teaches a lot of people a lot of things. So I'm going to put a link in if you want to learn a little bit how to do this properly. Check him out. Here I'm putting the Hampshire Sheen High Gloss on, and I think that you can see on the cloth it took some of the bronze off, and it took a little bit actually of the ebonizing lacquer off as well. So I'm not sure if I should have let both of those harden a little longer or what, but it's diminished the bronze somewhat. So I need to figure that one out, and next attempt I'll know better, I think. All right, got everything sanded up here now to 400 grit. Going to put some Yorkshire Grit original, and then the microfine on. And then I think I will put some Hampshire Sheen High Gloss on the center to finish it. You can see here that I got this reversed now and mounted to a faceplate with hot melt glue, the same as I've done in many videos. But that turned out to be a mistake with this, and I didn't realize it would be. But you'll see at the end what happens here. So while I'm finishing off the bottom of this, just want to thank everyone for sticking around to the end of the video. Very much appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you didn't like the video, please leave a thumbs down and let me know why so I can improve. So I have turned hundreds of bowls this way with hot melt glue to hold them on, but when I took this one off and popped the glue off, it actually took the lacquer off the outside. So I need to figure out a way to fix that, and I will get that fixed, even if it means putting it back on and sanding it back down and refinishing the entire thing. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.